Okay, so this is the game that I posted earlier, the Viper Rec game, me versus Glocken. And the first thing I noticed when I looked back at this game was that my Dark Age was really, really bad. And okay, it looks like that was the first wood I took. I ended up putting the second lumber camp up there. I don't know if I'm like the biggest fan. I know what I was thinking at the time is that I can just put everything in one spot and defend it easily. But now that my main gold's down here and I have wood here, I would have just thrown everything over there. But I get the first boar. I'm trying to see why the char gauge is so bad. I wonder if I clicked up later too. And like these fills should be hitting these diagonal trees right there. It's not really gonna affect why the Dark Age was so bad still. I know this is really boring, but like it's kind of one of those things I have to get out of the way, and I'll kind of show like at the 10-minute 30-second mark I always pause to see how many resources I've gathered, because it just sets you up for feudal. It's kind of everything. It's Let me put it this way, you'll never lose a game, you'll never win a game because of this. I know Viper said he's won games because of Dark Ages in his posts and like his road to being awesome. But I always view it as like you won't win a game with a good Dark Age or a bad Dark Age. Or I guess a good Dark Age, but you'll throw a game with a bad Dark Age like without walling. Like it just sucks. So yeah, it's let's see. Farm. My wood's kind of far away, so I wonder if that's... Oh, I missed the scout there. I'm too busy looking at my scout. Okay, so I click up. Yeah, I wonder, just eyeing it really quickly, it doesn't look like that bad to me. But what I like to do here is start to pause the rec at 10:30 to see. Oops, that's not 10:30. There we go. And then you can see food gathered. Okay, so I was kind of right. The food gathered was, it could have been a little better, but that's pretty standard. It's like 1650 is like the bare minimum you need to get out your stuff in a timely manner. But then I'll add these two numbers together. It ends up being 2368, which is horrific. Like that's basically if you like forward, that's kind of what this looks like. You want to shoot for 2550, and then like the upper echelon's gonna want to hit like 2600 plus. But basically, if you watch like any 2K plus player, they'll always be at 2500 plus for if you add both these together. And like I don't worry too much about the food because like it's usually always 1650 plus for me right now. And then if I add up Glocken's, he had 2415. I've noticed this a lot with like people at lower levels, like 1500 Vubli, which would be like maybe 1900 2K HD, where it kind of looks like this, and it'll sometimes be even 100 resources lower. There's a game I played against someone else, where I watched the Rex last night, and his Dark Ages were just about this, or sometimes they're even like 2250 total resources gathered, where I had like 2550 resources gathered. And like at that point, like the game's kind of lost at like already that soon, because if we're equal in all other areas, it's just too much to make up at that point. Yeah, but the wood should be like basically 100 more wood there is where we should get more stuff. But my wood line's super far away. Could have been a cleaner Dark Age, so yeah, that was it for that. Let me go through the rec, that like the first rec where I started noticing it, because I went through like a lot of recs just from 2K pluses and Viper Jordan Slam, and I started realizing obviously Viper Jordan Slam had better Dark Ages on average, and the 2Ks all had better Dark Ages on average than like anyone else below that level. So let me go. Let me go to the... Where is it? Oh, it's in here. So this is the game I don't know, kind of the game I was trying to copy for the longest time when I was learning the game. It's not the best build to copy though. But I saved the map seed just to practice the Dark Age, even where I know all the sheep and everything are, just to try to get as many resources gathered as Jordan did. If you save the map seed and load it, it has to load in single player though, and there's no lag. But I think that's better, and I'd even put it on all visible just to get used to like what the build is, or I mean even just to get used to like what the maximum amount of resources you can get are. So you can see how close this wood line is and stuff, and it like helps you start realizing, like, if you put the lumber camps exactly where he did and micro the wood line, that's like how you get better Dark Ages, and then all of a sudden you can get more stuff when you hit, and it just helps to feel the difference. And you can see like his Dark Age wasn't even the best. Like, he started to send a bill to the boar when he already had a bill going to the boar, and he had to pull it back here. And when he takes the second boar, he took it a little too soon because it's like all the way back here. I mean, a little bit too late. But yeah, let's just fast forward. Born stuff. Take berries on 12. This is also where I got the Dark Age build order I posted. I think I posted it on Reddit. 100% posted it on AOC Zone. I've tried other stuff. Other stuff does work better on different maps. The only problem is I've started noticing that this build is way safer if anything goes wrong. Like right here quickly, you can see how crowded it is under the TC. And so like to make a farm with this fill is pretty solid. Before I was trying to like wait till this fill had like 33 food and then make the farm to get like maximum efficiency off the boar. It's just like not really worth it. It's hard to remember in game. It doesn't make that gigantic of a difference. And I've even tried going like 5 on berries, 9 on wood, because I'm always floating a little more wood, and I just want like maximum food for scouts. Like, that's what this build is doing, just maximum food for scouts and wood for stable when you can get up in all your upgrades. But I love the 5 on berries, 9 on wood. The only problem is it would super screw up my timings for everything. Like, it was just too hard. It was too different. And so I just went back to this normal boring build, and it works really good. Like, Jordan does it a lot, Sebdos does it a lot, and they always have amazing Dark Ages. So yeah, Loom at the end really helps. I don't know, I totally missed the second board coming in. But yeah, let's pause it at 10:30. The reason I started doing it at 10:30 is because I was so bad before. Like, I'd click up feudal so late. So like, he should be feudal now, right? When he hits feudal, but I'd have to add on. I just do it at 10:30 for the times I was laid up. Okay, so we're at 10:30. Boom, achievements, eco. I already know he ended up having I think 2639 resources. Oh no, 2669. So that's an amazing Dark Age. And it's funny too, because this is like one of the first wrecks I've checked for Dark Ages, and it was pretty much the best that I found for like a really long time for like a standard Dark Age. And if you look at Chocobo, he ended up going 21 pop up, but he's at 2469. So he has 200 less resources gathered already. Now, one thing like you'll have to like kind of eye check is if anyone is taking deer, the deer won't be dropped off quite yet. So you'll have to kind of add that in your head that they have like, let's just say like 100 more resources that aren't accounted for, or whatever it is, because they didn't drop. And then the next thing for a standard build, I guess, is well, hopefully they have 2 lumber camps. That shouldn't be that big of a deal. I guess the thing I always look at, let me just go through the stuff I always look at, there's too many hypotheticals, is how many sheep they have left. So Jordan's just starting on his last sheep here, so he's got 1 left, and Chocobo is pushing deer. Yeah, see, I even forgot he did this. So he has like 15, 45 and change, and let's just say 50 food here that needs to be dropped. Pushing in another deer. He's a little further on this one sheep because it only has like 70 food left, where Jordan has 100 food left on his sheep. But he's pushing deer, so this'll, like right now, immediately, Jordan will, I'd say, like be ahead, but then if the longer he waits, Chocobo will be ahead, like after he's harvests this deer and then this deer. Like in theory, right? Um, yeah, so that's it for the Dark Ages there. I'm already at the 10-minute mark, so I'll just leave that at the Dark Age for this video. And something I think people should practice in single player on all visible, just to see if they can actually get like 25-50 resources gathered. You should be able to, unless the map's like horrific. And if you can't, like, I would just keep practicing it till you can. And like, you don't have to do it like a ton. Like, you can do it like 2 or 3 times a day, and you'll start feeling the difference after a while. And I don't know, so it was always relaxing for me. I just listen to music and practice it. Also, clicking up at the 8-minute mark, or like before 8-minute 10-second mark, you always need a vill in queue to click up, because that's like your only limiting factor for the time you can click up, is if the TC is pumping, because you need those vills out and then loom, and then you can click. Like, nothing else kind of matters if the TC bottlenecks. So if you don't have a vill in queue, what'll happen is there's command input lag and also the lag in game, where even if you mash the button and the vill isn't in queue, like right when the other vill is completed, you'll end up losing like 2 real life seconds at minimum, which ends up being 3 game seconds. So the more you do that, like you do that a few times, and all of a sudden you're 10 seconds behind. At minimum, it ends up, like, if you miss it 2 or 3 times, I think it ends up, I'm going off feeling, but it ends up being like 12 to 15 seconds, I feel like. So that's a big thing, and that'll end up killing your efficiency because you had the bills later and you clicked up late and get the upgrades later and whatever. The last thing is that if you want to practice with lag and with like fog of war, because I think it makes, oh no, you can do all visible with lag. So you go multiplayer on Voobly, and then yeah, it's on this TCP/IP direct connection, blah blah blah, create, and then it does this thing here where it's connecting, and then I don't know what magic happens, but this will let you play with lag. You'll have to add a player, but yeah, you can put it on all visible. I don't even worry about this guy, it never attacks you, so I just worry on the Dark Age. And then yeah, you can see if with lag, try to click up in time and get a good amount of resources gathered. So first of all, you want to just click up on time. Second of all, you just want to get a good amount of resources gathered. And yeah, it's a way to do it. And I was doing this even like like maybe a week or 2 ago. My Dark Ages were rusty. But yeah, that's it for that. That's a boring one. I'll try to go to a more fun one on the next one. See ya in the 3rd video. I guess I'll do Feudal Age for that one.